Back in here on GCR. Yeah, we definitely wore pants today. We chose today would be an appropriate day to make sure that we were wearing pants. Joining us in studio here in a Friday edition of the program, he is the commissioner of the Baltimore Police. He is Commissioner Mike Harrison. He's with us here at GCR. It's good to see you, Mr. Commissioner. Thank you for stopping by.
Good morning to all of you, and good morning to your listening audience. Thank you for having me.
We've spent the commercial break. He's been regaling us about I am a New Orleans fanatic. Like, there is no city. I love our city. I want to make that abundantly clear. I love our city. I tried moving away once. I ended up coming back. This is home. But my favorite city in the country is down that way. It is down that way. I love that place.
Born and raised, I love it, but I'm happy to be here. This is my new place.
All right. That being said, you were telling me about so you swear by
Oceana.
Okay.
So when you go to Oceana.
Because the Ravens are back on the road in New Orleans this year. So there's going to be a lot of people making the trip this year back down to New Orleans. It is, I would say, the most popular. Of course, the Ravens won the Super Bowl in New Orleans a few years back. It was an incredible week, one of the best weeks of my life, particularly because I got to hang out on stage with Stevie Wonder the night before the Super Bowl. That's a story for another day. It's one of the most popular road trips. Every time the Ravens go to New Orleans, it feels like there's 40,000 Ravens fans that go with them. So you're telling everybody who's planning on making the trip, you got to go to Oceana.
You got to go to Oceana. I have a favorite dish, and I'll be quick about it. It's the blackened duck, topped with a fried soft shell crab, topped with blackened alligator.
Well, that's all.
Topped with crawfish sauce.
So there's more.
Yeah, so that's my favorite dish. Try it.
That's one meal.
That's 3 meals in one.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know if I can. I mean, my God, that sounds incredible. That's the play. If you're down in New Orleans with the Ravens this fall, we don't know the date yet because we're still waiting on the schedule, but you got to stop by Oceana Grill.
Absolutely.
All right. Very, very good. We will file that away. Commissioner, I know you are on the search for some more folks to join you guys, and it's something that regularly people talk about in relationship to the police. Is, hey, we could use you. If you want to help, come help us. You want to improve things, you want to make things better for the community, come join us. Tell us about right now the need that you have for people to come join your unit.
It's a big need. We're in need of about 370 officers. That's what the amount of vacancies for sworn police. We're budgeted for 2,638. We're slightly above 2,200. So we need police officers. So anyone who feels the need to serve, anyone who feels like they want to be a part of a solution, the improvement to Baltimore Police Department and the city we love and live in, here's your opportunity. Come and join us. And go to baltimorepolice.org, and you can do everything right there online, and everything's right there set up for you.
Do you need people with what kind of experience are you looking for?
Well,
Does it need to be?
You have to be 21 years old. You have to have, we're looking for people who have a clean history. But there's some ways we can work around some very minor things. But we're looking for people who have the right temperament, people who have the calling, if you will, to serve, rather than to be served. But those who want to help be a part of the improvement of our city, the evolution of our police department, this new way of thinking about policing as a profession, away with the old way of thinking.
What does that mean? Can I just pause the Commissioner? What does that mean? The new way of thinking.
So we used to think about this very militaristic view, and when you looked at the police advertisements, you saw guns, you saw motorcycles, helicopters, big vehicles. Now it is really about the humanistic side. We want to see people who have the right temperament, who are connected to communities, who have a desire to help people. And it's not the military warrior syndrome or mentality, rather the guardian.
No question.
Approach, the guardians of our community. And while we will always have the opportunity and the need to go and find and arrest people who commit harm, we will always have to do that. It doesn't mean we won't do that. We're really looking for people who have the will and the capacity to come and problem solve in their communities.
So I feel like the word help is important here.
Help is the key fundamental word.
I think we talked a lot about sometimes police are called in mental health crises, right? Like that's somewhere you need somebody who can handle a situation like that.
We need people who can handle that, although there is a movement nationally and here in Baltimore to move police away from those kinds of calls unless it is absolutely necessary, that being there's some type of violence information about the call, or we believe weapons are involved and it requires police. But really, across the country and here in Baltimore, we're working to reduce the need and reduce the burdens on police officers to respond to everything, even the things we were never really called to and trained to handle, like mental illness and addiction and homelessness, because those are for other people who have a special expertise and training in those areas. And it would be better suited for police to deal with crime.
I mean, it seems simple enough, right? It seems like something that we should be able to figure out a little bit as we are. Give me, if we've got a website, I know, bpdrecruit.org. That's where you want people to go if they're interested in even just learning more about joining the Baltimore Police.
You want to learn more about joining our ranks, or if you are actively looking for employment with the police department, we ask you to take a look at the Baltimore Police Department with this past year's legislation and with our new contract that we just agreed to with our local FOP union. We are the highest paid police department in the state.
Okay.
And we have educational incentives on top of that. We have shift differential incentives on top of that. And there are so many different incentives that while it starts now at $60,000, new officers can make above 70 depending on what you bring to the table.
Okay.
So we are the highest paid in the state, and we invite you to take a look at us, the most progressive, the agency that has taken on reform more robustly and faster than any other city in America. And so we are the 21st century police department, and we are the department that other departments are now aiming to be like.
Commissioner Mike Harrison of the Baltimore Police is in studio with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Commissioner, we're on the cusp of opening day, of course, here in Baltimore. The Orioles are starting on the road this weekend, but come Monday, it's going to be a huge party scene, obviously, here in town. For folks like my young intern, Lil Jordan, who might be intending to spend opening day bellying up to every bar here in town, what advice might you have for baseball fans about how you can, enjoy opening day? Celebrate, but maybe, not do the things you're not supposed to be doing and end up having the day take a turn at some point.
Well, the thing is, enjoy yourself, but it also is about being responsible, knowing your limit.
Write this down, Jordan. Write this
knowing
down.
Knowing your limit and staying within that limit.
Know your limit.
And then secondly, make plans.
Yeah.
Plan to have a transportation there. Plan to have transportation back home. By all means, if you're enjoying an adult beverages, don't drink and drive.
Yep.
Make plans to find a way home, and make sure if you're driving and you're parking, you remember where you park. You're paying attention to your surroundings so that you can go straight to your car. But we want to make sure people enjoy themselves, but enjoy responsibly and know your limit and stay within your limit. Have a designated driver and make plans, if you don't, to get home safely without that designated driver.
Maybe get a hotel room downtown. Maybe,
that's a great alternative.
Might be a good idea for the day. You can deal with it the next day. Like, that's maybe just a smart decision to make now.
A smart decision. And we're going to have police all over. We have our police, we have transportation, we have state police, school police. We have, in federal agencies, we have a number of people to make sure it's safe at our sporting events. And so if you really find yourself in a tough position, find one of us and ask for help, and we'll be happy to help you.
Wow, that's a powerful statement, right? I think a lot of people would say, if I'm inebriated, I don't want to approach a police officer because I think I'm about to be thrown in a drunk tank.
Well, the most mature thing you can do is admit that you need help. And if you do that in a responsible way, I guarantee we will be there to find the help that you need.
That's powerful. That's a powerful statement. Commissioner, you reference safety, and I'm sure you hear this more often than even I do, but constantly I hear people who say to me, I don't really like going downtown for games anymore. Or events at all. I don't feel safe. I don't think I'm safe. They hear about carjackings being up. They read a story somewhere, and they just say to themselves, I don't want to do that. I want to approach this from a two-pronged. How much of the problem that you face in your role is reality? How much of it is perception? And how do you go about addressing both?
Well, crime, first of all, crime is real, and there are crimes that happen, but then there's the perception of crime, how people perceive it, and it's usually people who are not the victims of crime who have an idea or a perception of what the crime is in a particular area. We have not had, even when we were pre-COVID, we did not have major crime incidents of people attending sporting events. While there are incidents that happen everywhere, and certainly and downtown is no exception, we have a robust deployment strategy to make sure people can come into the area of the stadium and leave the area of the stadium and enjoy that game while they're there. So there's high visibility, there's traffic flow, there's patrol in and around the area. And so we've not had incidents like that for game goers. And the perception is that what happens on the news that you hear about will happen on game day.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the case. It's a very different situation, and we admonish you to come and enjoy yourselves. We have a great deployment strategy for protection and visibility and for traffic control, and it is not what you think it is. So there is an issue of the perception of crime. It is all about us having a good communications strategy to overcome people's perceptions of what crime is and what crime is not. And while there's crime in Baltimore, it is not everywhere, and it is not all the time, and it is not at the same time.
So that being said, there is crime in Baltimore, of course, right? This does and I bring that up in part because somebody might say, hey, if I was coming downtown, I'd really like to be able to, walk elsewhere, walk over to Little Italy, go get dinner, and come back over, and I just hear stories, and we know, unfortunately, there were very highly publicized tragic killings during the course of this year. How do we go about that side of it, the side that's real? How do we continue to? I know we can't, as much as we want to, we'll never be able to eradicate crime, and I wish we could. My God, what a utopian society we would live in. But how do we continue to go about making everywhere in the city safer?
Well, two things. First thing is, many people culturally in Baltimore, when they say crime, they really mean murder.
Mm-hmm.
They use the words interchangeably. They don't mean all crime. They really
That's fair.
They
Yep,
really just
sure.
mean murder or shootings. Murder and shootings usually happen between 80 to 85% people who know one another or know of one another. It usually doesn't happen indiscriminately or randomly to people who don't know you or who you don't know. Crimes of opportunity, like robberies, burglaries, car thefts, happen indiscriminately and randomly almost everywhere. And so it is about being safe. It is about knowing your surroundings. It's about taking the necessary precautions to park safely, to walk safely. But we have, we arrest and catch many of these people. Not all of them, but many of them. And the police are out there to make sure we can prevent as much as we can. And so the perception that violent crime like murder and shootings happen everywhere and people are afraid of that, by and large, it's between people who know one another. I wouldn't say people who are involved in crime because it's not always that, but it is usually something there at the core that ties those individuals together. Your average tourist, visitor to the city, someone going to a game does not factor into that. And we have not had any of those cases to game goers in any of our sporting events here in the city.
It's very interesting. And I know somebody would hear that and say, hey, we'd like to fix those other things too. Of course, right. But it's just germane to the conversation. Commissioner Mike Harrison is with us here in studio. Commissioner, you brought up, I think you were alluding to the defund the police movement, right? And the perception of police, particularly within the black community in our country. Have you created relationships, reached out to any prominent athletes in the area in an attempt to help with the image of the police and the things that you're talking about? Hey, we're here to help. We're trying to bridge the gap and improve relationships between the community and the police.
Well, I have not had success getting individuals. I would love to absolutely have our professional athletes, professional coaches from these teams to help with our image and to help us recruit and to help do all the things to show that we all love Baltimore because our athletes wear the uniform and represent Baltimore. Well, guess what? We wear a uniform representing Baltimore, so we're all about the same thing. What I can say that there are foundations that are helping, especially here in the Southern District, in and around our stadium, to give food to kids, bring food to schools because of food deserts. And so we're doing that.
I know Bradley and Nikki Bozeman were very involved
They're
with.
very involved with the Bozeman Foundation to helping us to do that, change our image, again, to the Guardian model, where we are caring about our community, not just enforcing the laws.
Commissioner, if I could ask you to get a little bit closer to the microphone. I apologize.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure everybody's hearing your message.
Absolutely. But look, we are out there every single day, and we would love to partner with the Orioles and with all of our sports teams to make sure they can help us with our image, they can help us recruit, but we all share the same goal. We want to have a winning team, and we want to represent Baltimore in the best light. And so to the extent that anyone wants to do that, I am here. My office is open, and I will go anywhere to meet anyone to accomplish that.
Were you an athlete at all?
I was an athlete, but I was more of a musician.
Okay.
Not an athlete.
Okay.
So
it's like, isn't that a rule like down in Louisiana? Like everybody's you have to be able to like line up in a first line, right?
You have to play music, or you have to be able to sing, or you have to be able to dance to it.
Right.
If you can't play, you can't sing, you better be able to dance.
There is nothing. The biggest party in New Orleans is a funeral. It's just the most amazing thing that you'll ever see in your life. So were you a sports fan? Like
I was, and I still am.
Okay.
I'm a sports fan. I'm still a Saints fan, although I don't live there. But I'm a big Ravens and Orioles fan. Now that I'm here, because I love sports.
I mean, so you like if this season the Ravens are playing the Saints, what does that look like in your life?
Well, if the Ravens play the Saints in Baltimore, and I'm living in Baltimore,
yeah, then you're okay. Fair enough. We'll take that.
I don't live in New Orleans.
We'll take
anymore.
that. We'll take
So
that.
I live in Baltimore.
We'll take that. That's good enough for us. We will take that. I wanted to give you a chance. I was thinking about everything you guys have been through over the course of the last year, and Kiana Holly's name came to mind. And I think that a lot of people are familiar with Kiana's story, but maybe only recognize her as the police officer that died in the line of duty, and don't know about her, the person, don't know about what she meant to the city. And I wanted to give you that opportunity to tell people about Kiana. We talk about her as a hero, and there's no doubt that that's true. But what do we need to know about her as a human beyond just someone who ended up paying the ultimate sacrifice?
Thank you for that. I think the Orioles are going to be honoring her at opening game.
It's wonderful.
Very important. We say thank you for that. She was a mother, mother of four, and she joined the police department after trying other careers late in life, in her 40s, and was only with us for a short while. So that speaks volume, that she would, a little bit older than your normal 21-year-old, would decide to take on this profession, and was very loving, and was community-oriented and tied to the community, and was always participating in something to help and better her community, working and volunteering at rec centers. I met her pastor at her church, who said she was very involved in ministry in her church.
Wow.
And was working to become ordained in her own church.
Wow.
And so those are things most people didn't know about Officer Holly. That made her more than just a police officer, but a great person, a great human being, a great resident and citizen of Baltimore.
What did it mean to you to see the outpouring of support for?
It's both heartbreaking and proud.
Mm-hmm.
It's heartbreaking to see us lose such a great resident and police officer and citizen person, but then proud to see the outpouring, And I delivered boxes upon boxes of cards and letters to her mother and her oldest daughter, and her sister, who came to my office just a couple of weeks ago. And we got cards and letters and gifts from around the country, even around the world, that were addressed, some to me, some to them, but I gave them all to them. Hundreds. And the outpouring of support was overwhelming. It was heartwarming, and we're certainly grateful. And on behalf of that family, let me just say thank you to everybody who showed support for the Kiana family.
Some powerful images of everybody crowding the overpasses on the highway it was just it was a really powerful thing, and it's a terrible thing. There's no question about it. It's a terrible thing, but a powerful response.
Yes.
Okay, now we remind people you need help. You need folks to help be invested in our city, and I think a lot of people want to stay on the sidelines and they want to just say, "Oh, the city's going to hell." You need people to step up and say, we want to take on the responsibility of trying to improve this place.
If you are anointed to see the problem, it is your responsibility to help us fix that problem.
Yep.
And so I invite anyone who wants to be part of a solution, part of problem solving, part of the evolution of the profession, changing for the better. Look at Baltimore Police. We're the highest paid. We're one of the best equipped. We're leading in reform. We're leading in technology improvements. We invite you to come take a look at us. I promise you'll find us light years ahead of many other departments, and we welcome you joining our ranks.
BPDrecruit.org is the website, bpdrecruit.org, if you want to find out more and join the force and try to help improve things in your hometown and sort of be the change, if you will, that you're looking to see in this city. Commissioner Mike, is there a social? Is there Amanda? Can I plug a social account at Baltimore Police? Is that what I should plug? I believe. I guess we should have prepared that ahead of time. Instead of this is a commissioner of police is like I got bigger things to worry about today. I can't be updating social and worrying about things. They haven't figured out a way to like get you on TikTok yet, have they?
Not yet.
Oh,
I'm sure somebody's thinking, but not yet.
I have avoided it myself too.
Yeah.
I have completely avoided it altogether. I feel like at a certain age, you just say, whatever socials I'm on, those are the ones I'm going to be on. There's not going to be any more at that point in your life. It's not going to work that way. Facebook, Twitter. I know it's at Baltimore Police on Twitter. It's the best way to go about doing it. What's that? LinkedIn as well, in order to find you. All right, Commissioner Mike Harrison, it is really great to meet you. Great to spend some time with you. We root for you.
I appreciate that.
We root for what you're doing for the city. May things continue to improve. May we not have any more conversations where we're talking about perception, because perception continues to improve in the coming years.
Let me know when you want me back. I'm happy to come back.
We'd love
Thank you so
We'd
much.
love to have you back in. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
All right. Take care.
That's Commissioner Mike Harrison. Again, bpdrecruit.org in order to find out more. We got lots more to do on a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.